lost, there's always a hope. Rise and fight.
Welcome back, everybody. It's Nyoken, and joining me is Doc Holiday. What's up, dude?
Good morning, and what's up? And thank you for the phone call this morning. I had no idea who you were, but Nyoken called me and just started yelling into his phone, and I was like, huh, this is a weird spam risk call. But we're here, so hey.
Yeah, it worked. I even said on the phone, I was like, Doc F and Holiday, it's your boy.
As soon as he called me Doc Holiday, I was like, oh, it's Nyoken.
Yeah. Oh, I thought that was hilarious because you're like, who's this? I'm like, how's he not know, man?
I didn't hear it the first time. I just heard a bunch of noise. And I was like, what? Who's this? And you're like, Doc Holiday. It's Nyoken. Oh, okay.
Yeah, we got BSL, man. You got to be here for these matches because I don't know if it gets better than this, Doc Holiday. We've got Dawid versus John Hoon in the top side. And then we've got the BSL King Bonyth going up against XiaoShuai, who has been crushing it versus Protoss in particular. And he's just devastating in this matchup. He 3-0'd Boa, he 2-0'd Quark. I mean, this guy just built Hydras, and you lose, basically.
Oh, no. Well, I mean, you kind of have to be able to beat Protoss if you're going to make it anywhere in the foreign scene. Of course, we have on our side the two boss tosses, Bonyth and Dawid, and then of course we have a newcomer from China as well, who's just been proven to be quite a monster. So you really have to have your ZVP chops. But I mean, it sounds like he's got the card and everything ready to go. You know, he's obviously a dueling champion. You know, he's got the Blue Eyes White Dragon ready to go, dude.
Yeah, you think he's Twisted Fate, man, with that card?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Card, yellow card, he's gonna stun.
No, it's gotta be the yellow card. Yeah, and then he goes the auto in the queue, and then bam, electrocute, and you're done.
Damn, that champ's so simple, man. So simple.
We can't play any more League, dude. This is so bad.
Well, man. We have our players ready, or about to be ready pretty soon. We know what the bans are already. I think. Let me take a look at what was banned. Okay, so XiaoShuai had first ban, and he's decided Longinus, we're not getting that. And then Bonyth, no surprise here, he ended up banning Gladiator, and that means that XiaoShuai has picked Vermeer first. So that's going to be our first map. But surprisingly, Monopoly gets through, and we know that Monopoly has not been a great map for Protoss. However, Dawid did pull out 2 wins the last time I saw him on Monopoly, so maybe Protoss is a little better than I anticipated.
I mean, I feel like it's hard to count our Protoss champions out on any map, so I'm not super surprised that Dawid's able to pull out wins on pretty much anywhere. All things being equal, though, you definitely want to make sure you've got some good maps to play on when you're going against players of this caliber. XiaoShuai with the 0 stats. He's a man of mystery. I love it.
And now he's our newcomer that we were talking about. You can see no stats at all. So for him to make it all the way to the top 4 is quite impressive, and that's pretty much what we've come to expect from these Chinese players. You know, Mihu won it all the past 2 seasons. John Hoon is potentially going to make it into the finals here. So Chinese players really, really, really strong. And meanwhile, we've got an equally strong opponent on the left side. You can see the stats speak for themselves. Seasons 8 through 11, the champ. Season 12, he gets 2nd place. Then afterwards, he has not been in the finals the past 2 seasons, so he's making to look to make his comeback here. And I think he can do it because he's playing exceptionally well versus Zerg. Also, I remember him beating Zeke earlier in the tournament, so if there's any Protoss other than Dawid, I mean, it's got to be Bonyth if somebody's going to take down XiaoShuai.
Yeah, he's got a long way to go, though. He does have to climb out of the bottom of the bracket here, so he's going to have to be playing really consistently.
Yeah, that is something to note, is that this is the loser side of the bracket, so whoever here loses, they're done. They do not have the option to try and stage a comeback. This is their last stand. And our players are finally ready. It's time to get into Vermeer. It's game 1 of our series, Bonyth versus XiaoShuai. Okay, in the top left, our Chinese Zerg. It is XiaoShuai.
And of course, in the top right-hand corner, we have our blue Protoss, Bonyth.
And instantly, I'm looking at these player names, and I'm noticing StarCraft Bonyth. So it seems like Bonyth has joined the StarCraft squad. But what I'm really noticing here is that CWT tag. And I point this out simply because I know Boa is in CWT. I know Dawid is in CWT. So maybe XiaoShuai has more experience versus these, foreign players than I was anticipating.
That would be pretty unfortunate for Bonyth. As I expect, the differences in the meta probably plays a pretty big factor in this with our players not having nearly as much experience playing against the Chinese teams or the Chinese players. So if he's got kind of the inside track on our boy Bonyth, he might be in for a bit of shenanigans. But we already have some interesting stuff with the high ground pylon going down.
Yeah, and I've been waiting all season long for the Bonyth 1 base play. I'm remembering from previous seasons, I think he saved this style until like the round of 4 also. And I think it was versus Eon Zerg. And luckily, XiaoShuai potentially could scout him first. I say potentially simply because we know a lot of Zerg players, as soon as they see the Nat is empty, they're going to reroute that Overlord. But if he continues to go into the main, he will be able to find this 2-gate instantly, and obviously he'll have good intel and will be able to find a good counter to it.
See, I never have that problem because I always forget about my Overlord as soon as I send it.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean?
I do know what you mean. Actually, somebody asked me to play as Zerg yesterday, and I forgot an Overlord was sitting over a cannon.
Oh,
and
I
it
love
almost
it.
died.
Oh no! Bonyth stays! The Star Sense keeps the probe in the natural expansion, and XiaoShuai immediately gets his natural expansion delayed for quite a little bit here, as the scouting probe going to be really annoying.
Yeah, I think the probe even got the... Oh, and that's what I was talking about. The Overlord comes in, sees there's nothing at the Nat, and he reroutes it. Now, if Bonyth holds the Zealot in his main and saves up 3, I think the Overlord isn't even going to see the Zealots move out. So this could be a genius play for Bonyth, and that's exactly what he's doing. He knows that that Overlord would be hanging around and would still have vision, and XiaoShuai, he needs to be very careful to not underbuild Lings, because if he does, he might outright die.
Well, he's already gone to 3 hatcheries now, and that is going to be quite a significant amount of minerals kind of just invested into stuff that doesn't kill Zealots.
Oh my gosh, I don't know why XiaoShuai turned around, but he figured something was up, and he turns around and he sees the 3 Zealots come out, and that is crucial for him. He cancels the hatch because he knows he can't save it. He even sunkens his main, and Bonyth sees it.
Now, the placement of the original hatchery going down might save a little time. He might be able to get a couple of larvae out of there that could make all the difference, but this is still a really precarious position because once that hatchery has been found, it becomes really difficult as the Zealots can go back and forth and block the ramp and do all kinds of shenanigans, make it really difficult to save that natural.
Yeah, we're really worried about this third, well, I guess not necessarily third base, but we see it's at the normal third base, and that hold position of the Zealots on the ramp, there's no way Lings are getting down there. All Bonyth needs to do now is he needs to find this hatch, and that should be a dead base. XiaoShuai, if he wants to actually get down here, he needs to drone drill. For now, Bonyth has not found the base. I guess he doesn't expect it to just be right there. You can see he's scouting mid-left, scouting bottom left. Luckily, XiaoShuai is going to get this third base up and actually be able to use some of the larvae and may be able to come in for a loop around onto the Zealots from the top side and the bottom side. Even then, though, there is a bazillion Zealots here, and not even close to enough Zerglings to start even beginning to engage this. Now, the Sunkens could prove to be an excellent defense here, but I just don't think there are enough Lings here. You can kind of just focus down drones, and every single drone in the situation is, like, critical. Yeah, and like you said, there's absolutely just a bazillion zealots here. Look at the supply, it's 41 to 21. Now I realize Protoss should be up in supply with so many zealots and 2 gate, but I mean, this is doubling supply. Now that's almost a pick off for XiaoShuai. He needs to get another good engagement like that. Whether he kills them or not, at least softening them up is a big deal. And critically, Bonyth still has not found this third base.
Oh
I'm
my
surprised
God.
he hasn't. And that's a massive counterattack. The main's completely open. This is exactly what XiaoShuai needed. We're probably going to have base trade scenario.
The question for me is, we only have a single sunken here still, and this is a ton of zealots.
I think XiaoShuai is going to easily hold this. Remember, he's got drones for the drilling. The Lings plus Sunken combo is a big deal. And if he can kill both the pylons, that means we just have probes versus Lings. We know how that goes. Not very... Oh my God, look at those cells pop out in the nick of time.
Here we go. And an excellent control of the drones here, getting on top of the extractor so that they can glide easily through the zealots and do their damage and push them off of the sunken here. And the attacking force of Bonyth has been all but demolished at this point, and there are no zealots on the way. I don't know about this, but from what I hear, Corsairs can't shoot down.
Yeah, that's what I've been learning recently.
We've been
is that
informed.
Corsairs do not shoot down, and now Bonyth needs to scramble to get up a cannon to try and support these zealots. I don't think that the gateways be able to pop any zealots in time. Ling's getting on top of the top zealot, and the bottom zealot falls.
Oh
Probes
my
are trying
God.
to save the day, but there's just an overwhelming amount of Lings, and Bonyth unable to find that hidden hatch. Oh, this is going to be devastating. He's going to lose the game simply because he could never find it.
Wow, that is insane that this worked out so well.
Two zealots popped out, but the probes already died, so they can't support these zealots. You can see the stutter step, and control from Bonyth is insane. He desperately needs to use that 184 minerals he has to try and get a cannon down. Instead, he opts for a pylon, which is not helping him right now unless he's got stuff queued up in the gateways, but he is basically not mining. 3 probes, that's it. The rest are just trying to defend. Lings are on top of that Nexus. They've got good DPS. He could potentially knock it down.
Well, the miracle happened, and the pylon actually ended up getting up here, but even still, such a dire situation. Even with zealot production at this point, there are 3 hatcheries of Zerglings heading across the map, so even if both gates somehow had managed to survive, you can't outproduce that.
Oh my gosh, the probe control was amazing, but in the end, there's just still too many Zerglings. Cannon dies. I'm not sure if it was canceled, but at this point, it doesn't matter whether it is canceled anymore or not. Supplies are in favor of Zerg. Corsair, I realize, is able to kill some overlords, but Protoss still not mining. Zerg still has 3 hatch. Protoss has no gates. This is it. GG.
Wow.
And there it is. XiaoShuai, he's going to go up 1-0.
Man, XiaoShuai really watching some of those Octord streams, man. What a crazy game. He found out the secret. The secret, dude. You just press the Z button. Why even make drones after 1 base? You know what I mean?
Well, you know about the Z button.
I know the Z button.
Yeah, you know very well.
It's the only button on my keyboard, dude. I got that, and I got hotkeys.
Exactly. S, Z, and A. That's the
dude.
only thing on there. Maybe Overlord, but probably not. We just deal with the supply block and
Who
lose
needs
our Lings.
overlords, bro?
Yeah.
No, you bring the drones, man. You don't need supply if your drones die. But what a wild game. I mean, it looked completely fatal there for a second for XiaoShuai. You had the whole bottom of the ramp blocked off. Tons of zealots on the map. He had made 3 hatcheries before the zealots were even revealed, and somehow with the third place hatchery, the natural, never got scouted, and it just kept making Zerglings. And the hatchery in the main got up, and all of a sudden you went from a desperate situation to, oh, I've got 3 hatcheries and he's got 1 base.
Yeah, I think Bonyth just had a slight brain fart, really, that there's actually a base right next to the main. I mean, I've had that happen before. I can't remember exactly what map, but on maps that have a ton of bases, sometimes I just forget one's there. I'm like, oh, actually, there's a base here. And I think that's really just what happened. If he finds that base, I think XiaoShuai is insta-dead. He's going to be stuck on 1 base Zerg versus 1 base Protoss. You're just never getting out of your base at that point. So A bit unfortunate there from Bonyth. I do have to point out is that the game looked pretty laggy, so I'm hoping that could be resolved, because I mean that's a bit annoying to deal with. But we know what the next map. Oh, yeah, we do know what the next map is going to be. It's going to be Bonyth pick, which means it's going to be Overwatch, and this is a 2-player map. Doc Holiday, you can link flood this too, but the nat is quite tiny. Of course, you're not going to be able to hide a 1-base play, I don't think. So I'm expecting to see a big Hydra bust, which I know is quite effective on Overwatch, especially if Protoss spawns bottom right, because I think there's less surface area to build cannons.
Well, if there ever was a unit that could be considered better than the Zergling in this matchup, I think Hydras would be the only one. Maybe, well, I don't know. Urka's pretty good, but Hydras are the backbone. So if the Zerglings went this well, can you imagine if Zerglings could shoot?
Do I want to imagine that? Like, imagine you get 2 of them at once and they can shoot across. It's like,
Oh, no.
like I'm sitting behind a wall with a Marine. I'm like, I'm safe, and then there's just 2 lings that show up and just shoot me from across the depot. Or I don't know if I would like that. But
It's like G5's nightmare. He wakes up in a cold sweat.
yeah. Well, our players are ready. Game 2's ready. Time to get into Bonyth versus XiaoShuai and Overwatch. Okay, in the top right, our red Protoss. It is Bonyth.
Alrighty, guys, and in the bottom right-hand corner as our blue Zerg, we have XiaoShuai.
Yep, now remember last game, I think it was Overpool opener, if I remember correctly. Maybe it was 9 pool, but either way, it was not a greedy build. It
Not
was
at all.
definitely a low eco build, more aggressive build, but XiaoShuai did only open 2 lings in the beginning. That is something to note. I wonder if he'll open with 2 lings again. We've got another 2-player map. Thinking back to previous games I saw on XiaoShuai, there was one game in particular that I think he had no business of winning. I remember him ling flooding it, and he did eventually break the Protoss. And I think another one he ended up going for 973. So really expecting something aggressive again from XiaoShuai here.
Well, I mean, this is certainly a decent map for it. Of course, aggressive play can get shut down by the weird bridges out front, so you have to go all the way around. It can be quite a long attack path, but even still, natural expansion does have quite a large surface area if you do come from kind of the north side of that to come down and attack. So we'll have to see how that works out. I really do like the conservative build order here from the Zerg, though. Bonyth is very strong player, and he is not necessarily afraid to do something aggressive. So it worked out for him last game. I'd like to see it work out for him again this game, because I do want to see a Zerg, you know, just kind of stay in this tournament for a little bit. But it does feel really bad to root against Bonyth, because he's maybe one of the nicest guys I've ever spoken with in the foreign scene. So it does feels a little dirty.
Well, yeah, I mean, you got a conflict of interest here, right? You've got the Zerg, the last Zerg, right? It's not like Jean Hoon is a Zerg, and we'll have a remaining Zerg if XiaoShuai gets knocked out. So it would be nice to have at least one Zerg left, so we can at least get not just PvP the rest of the way. But I agree, you also want to see Bonyth do well. Now, I can tell you, of all the openers that Bonyth was going to go for, this is the one I was at least expecting, because you know XiaoShuai is aggressive, and he still opened 12 Nexus. I thought at the greediest it would be like a delayed forge into Nexus, but no sir, he's going big eco.
Well, this is why he is a champ, man. He does not get the nerves like your average player. He's willing to do anything and everything. We'll see. Though. It looks like the cannon's going to be up just in time to not take too much damage. Bonyth putting down a second safety cannon, though, to deal with the remaining lings coming in here. We already have one drone going down, and Bonyth desperately trying to keep the Zerglings from getting up that ramp there. Really nice block here.
Oh, yeah,
oh my god, he saves it.
He ends up losing 1 pro, but he kills 3 lings. 1 ling gets in, but that's not really enough lings to be scared of. I would say if you can get 2 in, then all of a sudden you can start ramping up a lot of kills. But for there to only be 1, I imagine that this shouldn't do much damage. His build shouldn't be disrupted really at all, and it's not going to be, because that ling is already dead. And Pro's still alive.
Yeah, it is so funny how big of a difference 1 versus 2 lings are. Like 2 lings, you can power down a probe really fast, but with 1 ling, like the probes just turn around and kill your ling.
Yeah, you got to be very careful going into that probe line. You can see that it instantly died. And Bonyth, he's got his gas, just now going to start mining it. I see that XiaoShuai is approaching the 100 gas, and there we go. I was like, that's 78. That's not a multiple of 8 right there. And there's where some of that gas has gone into. It's a hydrogen at the natural. Probe has not scouted it yet, but I think Bonyth is probably aware that something's going on since he doesn't see Lair.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely going to check the natural eventually too. If you don't see any tech and you don't see any kind of hydrogen and you don't see layer, it's clear that the gas is going to have to go somewhere, and it's highly unlikely that it's just going to be going to speed for forever. Zealot arrives in natural expansion now, going to see that hydrogen, so all of that information is readily available to him. Now we're just going to have to wait for him to get that Corsair out so you can kind of see what the deal is. If there's going to be a ton of Hydras coming across the map to try and bust his natural expansion, or if there's just going to be more hatcheries.
And I didn't even realize that Zed had already gotten across the map. He already snipes 1 probe. He almost got a second drone there. That's only 2 lings, so this Zealot is going to easily kill both of them. He may even be able to pop another drone. Regardless, though, the Zealot harassment is dealing a lot of damage, and of course confirmed the Hydra Den. And that means that Bonyth's going to be able to react to this with a huge...
Can you get the last slap on that one Zergling? Nope.
He's not able to get
See
it.
ya.
See ya, Ling. But he knows what's coming way in advance, and he's able to do this right here. He goes into 4 gate.
Oh, I love this.
With straight Citadel, and Dragoon might even kill this Overlord, which will supply block XiaoShuai.
Yeah, that is so big. So this is going to delay the push, and then you're going to have a bazillion Zealots with their Nikes on, man, chasing down the Hydra Ball. If you can get that information that quickly, this is such a great response, because you can really overwhelm the Hydralists at the front of your base with very little effort put in.
Well, I wonder what XiaoShuai is going to do here. Is he going to try and continue to all in despite being supply blocked, or is he going to try and transition out of it? Simply based on the games that I've seen from him, he tends to commit. So if I was Bonyth here, I would not skimp out on cannons at all. No, sir. I would definitely build them up, and he's going up into 5. I think that's smart.
We do have a 4th hatchery, though, at the 3rd base here, so not going to be a just all in right away, but he is going to pick off the buildings in the front, going to delay that +1 potentially, as well as getting that 1 gateway. A little bit of value here, especially when you don't have too many Hydras committed. This is great because you force a ton of cannons and really delay Protoss's ability to do anything. But, ooh, is he going to get the +1? This is actually going to be just the right amount of units here. And a drone coming along just for moral support, man.
Yeah, he does get it, but he does kill a couple Hydras and a couple Lings, and he also sees that a drone was rallied across the map. So he knows, at least for now, that this is not a committed all-in from XiaoShuai, but XiaoShuai is still building up a decent amount of Hydras. Now, it doesn't look like a lot of defense here for XiaoShuai, but, you know, the Zealots don't get good surface area here. I'm surprised that Bonyth is going to commit to this. There you go. He is going to back off, but he does lose a couple Zealots.
Yeah, I think what that was the Dragoon seemed a little bit upset, so all the Zealots were giving him a hug really quick before they started the fight.
It could have been.
But yeah, as I said, man, earlier, that bridge is brutal, man. You cannot come across that into an army that's waiting, especially with a bunch of melee units here. But, dude, could you imagine if that drone had been a mind game, and he was just making Hydras the whole time, and he sent, like, 2 drones? And he's just like, oh, okay, yeah, he's droning right now. That's just a misrally. And then all of a sudden, here comes just a gigantic Hydralist army, and you cut all of your cannons. Oh,
I mean, that would be hilarious. Like, imagine if Bonyth was putting up, like, 5 cannons all at once, and he sees the drone, and he cancels all of them, and then instantly gets countered by mass Hydra. I would lose my mind. I was like, wow, you're so bad you had a miss rally. And then I canceled everything, and then you just won. I couldn't even imagine what Artosis would say to that. He would absolutely
he wouldn't say anything,
no.
Dude. It would just end in violence.
Well, we've got 6 hatch production from XiaoShuai. He's got a decent drone count, but Bonyth has 30 supply lead right now. Look at that Sim City. There's not a lot of Hydras over on the right side, but Hydras are coming from the back. And that means that Bonyth is going to have to turn around for now.
Yeah, it is pretty tough to bust into a Zerg's base when they have good Sim City like that. And we do have a sunken as well at each base just for good measure. But the Hydra is going to be able to chase that off for now. And with 6 hatcheries, that is a whole lot of production. And that means Hydra Man is on the way. But we do have the High Templars accruing their energy and waiting for their researches to be done. And then we're going to have big fights trying to delay a 3rd base probably.
Yeah, and those Templars have been sitting out there for a while, so it wouldn't surprise me if he has even double storm on 3 of them in the next few seconds. We've got a small engagement with Hydras and Zealots. Really good Hydra control right there, but it looks like the Hydras are not focusing the correct Zealots. A lot of them ended up surviving for a long time, and Bonyth may barely lose this fight, but I would say he traded quite well. However, supplies are now almost even. It's 72 to 65, so XiaoShuai has done a really, really good job to recover.
Yeah, you know, this is, I did not see that coming for a while, because the Zealots lasted so long. Because you're right, he wasn't really focus firing any of the Zealots, so they seemed to be alive for way too long, and then all of a sudden, like, 4 of them popped, and it was 2 Zealots and a Dragoon. I was like, oh, okay. Well, things are gonna turn a little bit different here. The Lurkers are out. Perfect timing here. Going to be really great tech to kind of use up a lot of those storms and soak up a lot of the AoE as the Robo is not quite yet there. But now we do have Scourge in the main, and they're going to see this ridiculous gateway count here. And that is going to clue XiaoShuai into the fact that it is time to make a ton of units and get ready for a huge fight, because there are a lot of product units on the way.
We've got Lurkers coming in, so he's going to have potentially a massive contain out of that bridge. I mean, you're just never, ever going to be able to go through that bridge unless you just want to lose all of your Zealots instantly. And that means that all Bonyth can really do is focus on trying to get to the top side of the map and try and push across that high ground at top middle. And XiaoShuai is going to be aware of that too, so I'm sure he's going to focus a lot of his attention there. And actually, he's going to be the one to get onto high ground first. So this is a catastrophic position for Bonyth.
Yeah, this is super hard. He's going to have a really hard time getting a 3rd base. He's going to have a really hard time leveraging any of the units. Hilariously, though, there is one... It's like a scare tactic Lurker across the ramp. Because you know he can't see it, so he's going to see the Lurker spine. He's going to back off immediately. But really, he could probably just walk across that ramp.
Yeah, we see that it's, what, like 1 Lurker and 2 Hydras? I mean, really not a lot. Okay, he is actually going to... No, he's not.
See?
I mean, that's just how scary this bridge is, man. Like, he doesn't know what's behind it. Like, if you run into that, shred all your shields, and then there's Mass Hydra behind it, you're just... Oh my god, and then he eats 4 Lurker shots on the top side. These Templars have a lot of storm, but the Lurkers have already done a ton of damage to the shield. He can pop the Observer too, which he just did.
Oh my gosh. It was so crazy too. There was 4 naked Lurkers there for a minute there, but the Obs hadn't quite caught up to the army. The Hydras were kind of making their way across, but you can't shoot them if you can't see them, man.
Yeah, that is definitely true. Observer, I mean, it's just so fragile, man. You lose it and instantly Lurkers are just insane. I mean, they're already insane to begin with. That was pretty good storms. He hits a lot of Hydras and the 3rd one comes out, and now Bonyth is going to try and bust through, but look at supply. It's 120 to 115. It looks like XiaoShuai doesn't have the majority of his army here, so Bonyth will be able to push through right now, and that's critical for him because he needs to get his 3rd base up and running because XiaoShuai already has bottom left up.
Yeah, Bonyth's storms have been spectacular, you know, as you can expect from a player of his caliber. But man, he got a ton of value there, wiping out the contingent of Hydras that were there with very little resistance. And now all of a sudden, he is out on the map and able to cut off reinforcements and doing damage everywhere. We have units coming out from the front of the natural expansion, meeting the main army here. And Bonyth is going to know that he has a potential opportunity to sandwich here. There's like 1 Lurker.
Yeah, there's not a lot of Lurkers here, and there is a lot of storm. I was wondering where XiaoShuai's army is, and there it is. It's outside the bridge. But this is an isolated army. Oh my god, he's just eating so many storms. He's still pretty good in supply, 100 to 115. But these Hydras got absolutely demolished, and that's going to alleviate a lot of pressure for Bonyth. He may even consider taking a 4th base with all the damage he did just there.
Yep, but XiaoShuai has not been slacking on the macro. He took his 4th even before, getting across the map with the army there. So there are a lot of hatcheries on the map, and he has a lot of money in the bank. So a huge army potentially going to be able to continue to fight. So taking a 4th is not going to be just as easy as walking over there and placing it down, because they're going to be hydras all over the map here in a minute. And oh my gosh, though, this is a ton of overlords going down here, and so immediately supply blocking XiaoShuai. That is going to be just quite another pickup, a great little pickup from Bonyth. And this is the type of thing that I always feel like I see from him. It's like he gets like a miracle Reaver shot off, or he just gets like 2 storms that just absolutely flip the game on its head, and it happens all the time. He's so consistent at it.
Yeah, we do see that Bonyth was trying to take mid left, but it gets instantly scouted by the Overlord. I think there was something loaded in that Overlord. That's how the Lurker just appeared, so a drop could be coming in. We know that there's a cannon already at the natural, so I don't think that that will have much success. But those Corsairs getting the 4 Overlord kills really supply block XiaoShuai for a long time, and that's another amazing storm. Bonyth getting such huge value with these storms. He's still not able to get a 4th base at mid left. I think he'll probably move to top right now, but we're getting into the point in the game where both players are potentially gonna split. Still no Hive for XiaoShuai. I'm a bit worried that Hive could be a little bit late, because we saw that Bonyth already got his support bait coming up, so Reaver's gonna be coming in.
Yep, Reavers are, the funny thing too about Reavers is they're literally the master key to defeating the Hive Tech. So even if Hive Tech was on time, Reavers are coming in great timing. But look at this. Army completely out of position. No lurkers at all at this natural expansion. Even if we lose this army, the damage that's going to be dealt here is catastrophic.
Yeah, and this is a choked up position, right? Like, storms are just going to blanket everything. Look, he has, what, 5 lurkers, 4 hydras, and that's it? There's no way that he's able to save his Nat. That Nat double hash is going to die. Hydrogen's going to die. Overlords are getting mowed down. And Bonyth, I think, just found the killing move slightly out of position was XiaoShuai, and instantly Bonyth pounces on it. He also just hit his critical 2-2 upgrades. He still has multiple storms available. There's one of them.
Bonyth up 60 supply pretty much here at this point. Ridiculous damage being dealt here. How does he keep getting away with this? How does this always happen?
I don't know.
This is criminal.
It is criminal, man. We've got Zealots in the main, too, so he breaches the Nat. He's going to breach the main, and he's killed off the entirety of Zerg's army. This is Bonyth's game to take. I can't see any world where XiaoShuai can recover from here. He lost so much production, lost so much eco. Zealots are ransacking everything. The Goons are still alive, dude. The Corsairs are still alive. Look how many Overlords are right there. If he finds those, that's going to be a huge supply block.
Who needs to find those? He has a whole other army coming in right now. It's like XiaoShuai's got like 6 units coming out at a time. He's got all the Scourge though in the main though. I mean, if Scourge could hit the ground, you know what I mean? Oh my God, these Reaver shots are gonna be. Here we go. Let's see.
Crazy. Oh, that's a huge hit right there. He gets like half of the drones. The other ones escape to bottom left. Reaver ends up dying. Hive ends up dying. And XiaoShuai falling apart here. We are moments away from the GG. And we got a series on our hands now, Doc Holiday. Series gonna be tied 1-1.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, the crazy thing is XiaoShuai at points in this game looked to be in like an incredibly dominant position, and then we blinked, and all of a sudden Bonyth's killing everything.
Yeah, we were talking about how punishing the bridge was, and I thought a lot of the attention would be focused on that high ground, and it just wasn't, and it let Bonyth out onto the map. He swooped around, killed off that massive Hydra ball that was outside of the bridge, got multiple Overlord kills. XiaoShuai all of a sudden gets in a defensive position. Bonyth swoops across the bridge, and that's it. He takes down the Nat in the main, and then the third, and XiaoShuai gets crippled. And now it's 1-1, and I mean, Bonyth just made it look so easy that game, even though XiaoShuai had an amazing comeback from the early stages.
Yeah, dude, it was smooth like butter, man. He just was like, oh, this is a bad position for me. No one told me, dude. I'm just gonna win from here. Like, whatever, dude. I don't know. Cause you're right. He had the position outside of the natural lockdown by the one lurker and 2 hydras, of course. And then there were 4 lurkers on the high ground, but the hydras were on like a coffee break in between both positions. So that lurker contain on the high ground got blown up instantly. Although I have to, credit where credit's due, the single lurker 2 hydralisk block on the bridge was pretty brilliant. But it just did not work out. And then apparently no one told the XiaoShuai that your natural base was important, because that got instantly blown up when the game was over.
Yeah, and when you're at a level like this, literally it can come down to seconds. Like, imagine if XiaoShuai didn't have his hydras at the bridges and they were over on the top right side like 5 seconds earlier. I mean, then Bonyth, maybe he never gets out, right? Or maybe if he doesn't defend his high ground at bottom left and he's in position on the bridge to defend his nat 5 seconds earlier, Bonyth doesn't bust through there. Like, it comes down to little things like that.
I always think it's so stupid when we talk about StarCraft in this ridiculously dramatic way, but it's so true. But at the same time, it always feels like we're talking about like you ever seen Death Note, where the guy's just writing in a notebook, but there's like dramatic music and there's like jump cuts to all these different angles and there's like scary lines everywhere. That's what I feel like we're talking about, because I feel like XiaoShuai, like the 2 seconds that he was doing something wrong, he's probably just like, oh god, my eye. All right. And he goes back to playing, and he's dead.
Yeah, I mean, it's true. Once you reach a certain level, people talk about APM is not really that important, but I mean, speed is very important at a certain level. You got to be on top of your stuff. You got to be on top of your intel. And you're out of position for a second, and it snowballs heavily in your favor, or out of your favor. But something in XiaoShuai's favor now is at least he's going to have map pick, and he's decided that he wants to go on Silfid. I think this is a good map for Zerg versus Protoss. You've got open nat, you've got the slight gap at the nat where lanes could potentially run by. You're the Zerg player here. You think Silfid's a good map for ZVP?
Oh yeah, the third is a bit further away than you would expect on an average map. There is that kind of more dangerous third on like the fakey high ground that you have, but no one really likes to take that because it is much more difficult to defend since there's 2 angles. You're also talking about a 3-player map, which classically favors Zerg because you do have the ability to out-expand your opponent and really just eat up the map. And you do like a quote-unquote split map situation, but you're taking 2/3. That's always going to work out in your favor as a Zerg. So yeah, I mean, this is a great map pick. I think if XiaoShuai wants a win, this is definitely one of the best ones he could have picked.
Yeah, I remember Bonyth versus Zeke here. Zeke looked like he was in a good position, actually, versus Bonyth, like a really good position. Yet somehow Bonyth ended up winning that game. But XiaoShuai is looking even stronger than Zeke in ZVP. So I think Bonyth is going to have to play a little bit better than he did in his Zeke series if he wants to take a win, especially on Silfid. Again, we're getting a look at the player stats. You can see that win rate from Bonyth, absolutely bonkers. 76% win rate versus Zerg. Remember, this is when Zergs and Protoss exclusively were dominating BSL. So that's 76% win rate. Those are versus players like Eon Zerg, like True Touch, like Zeke. And he's got a 76% win rate. Then he's got a 90% win rate versus Terran. And I actually think this is the first season I've even seen that win rate come down, because before that, it used to say 100%. Then we've got 82% versus Protoss. And you think of Protoss players in BSL, Boa, DeWalt. I mean, Bonyth just absolutely insane win rates versus all the races. In fact, this is higher than Flash win rates. Flash is like 70% across the board. Just nuts.
Dude, it's so absurd when you think about the numbers that we're looking at, right? When you say 89% win rate versus Terran, I don't think I have a successful percentage of peeing into the toilet accurately on the first try. 89%. There's no way.
What?
Dude,
Oh my God.
You wake up in the middle of the night, you're just like, I gotta go to the bathroom, whatever. And maybe, whatever. Okay, all I'm saying is that's an absurdly high win rate, all right?
Yeah, it is ridiculously high. Our players.
Okay, what kind of thing do you actually do with an 89% consistency rate? It's like nothing.
Yeah, nothing really. I don't know. I'd have to really think about that. Maybe lose to Protoss with an 89% win rate. 89% weight. Well,
Oh my god. Well, let's go ahead and get on into the games before we get too sidetracked. Here we go.
okay, in the top middle, our red Protoss. It is Bonyth.
Alright, in the bottom left hand, as the blue Zerg, we have XiaoShuai. Oh my gosh, what a lovely tip. Thank you, Anonymous.
That's a huge tip, man. Thank you so much. You can see our goal at the bottom. We're about 60% of the way to having enough for BSL16. So if you like BSL, you want to see it continue, definitely consider supporting the BSL through a donation or Patreon or sub or bits. Anything goes a long way. But again, thank you, Anonymous, for the donation. We see that this is not going to be a one base play from Bonyth. He again has that forward pylon, instant scout from him, and unluckily for him, he's not going to find XiaoShuai first. And this time around, okay, it is another overpool from XiaoShuai. For a second, I thought it was a 9-pool.
9-pool 3-player map, not a horrible choice, honestly. I would not be super surprised to see it, but I would also be pretty hesitant to try a 9-pool versus someone like Bonyth, who has got insane Zealot micro and Probe micro. But the games seem to have been, you know, a bit laggy, I guess, for our players here. So it may be a strategy that could work out. But, you know, for now, looks like we're going to just be seeing safe play here. Oh, and the Probe. Yeah, okay. I mean, you have to go see if there's actually a pool or not, but blocking that hatch would have been very nice.
Yeah, ends up opting to scout and confirm the build order from XiaoShuai instead of blocking that hatchery. He does see it was an overpool, so he's going to put down his Nexus before the cannon. So everything looking very normal. And I saw that the camera position has positioned at the bottom middle of the map. So third base likely to be at the bottom middle high ground base for XiaoShuai. It doesn't seem like he is going to be going for that larva style where he's going to go for a split map. Now I thought that probe was going to get blown up by those lings, but those lings have had mercy so far. They're just going to walk by and try and get into the main, but I don't think they're actually going to be able to get there in time.
No, sorry, not with that pro's big old fat butt blocking up the pathing for the Zerglings too. And here we go, a bunch more Badonkadonks coming into the natural expansion. Make sure that these Zerglings do not get past the cannon here.
Well, that's a little bit of a surprising third hatch, isn't it? We were talking about how that particular base not only has just 6 mineral patches, but what do they have, 750 each, and also the gas is kind of low too. So I'm surprised that he didn't take the bottom middle high ground base, because that's a full base. It's not a half base like the one he just took.
Oh my god, the PP comments are now hitting, and I'm seeing the comments in the chat. I'm never gonna live this down, Nyokin.
Yeah, I just saw that too, and I saw somebody pointed out the Foreigners versus Korean show match that StarCraft did, 1 in 35. So there's your answer to an 89% success rate. It's when the Koreans come out in full force versus Foreigners. And the only game that was won was actually Bonyth versus Rush, who Rush failed like an 8 racks or something. That was the only win. Every other game was massacre. Actually, I take that back. 99% of the games were massacre. There was a game of DeWalt versus Snow that was extremely close, and I thought DeWalt was going to win. But in the end, Snow just a little too good, man.
Alrighty, well, getting back to the comments about the third, the one thing I think that Silfid is great also for is that Zerg is not punished nearly as hard for taking that base. Because you're going to take your fourth pretty quickly, generally speaking, or you're going to win pretty quickly. It's like one of the two. So Zerg immediately secures themselves like kind of like a full base later on anyways, and they're typically going to have map control for a good portion of the game. So defending that base is not nearly as important for quite a long time, and then you're not really punished economically the way that Protoss would be for taking that base as well. So again, just a spectacular, you know, a spectacular kind of map for Zerg to play this matchup on.
Well, I see that Hydrogen, Doc Holiday. Did you get a count on the drones? Is this 973 that we're seeing?
I wouldn't be surprised, but I did not get a count on the drones.
Oh, 975? Is that a thing?
It is now.
We're
If XiaoShuai's doing it, it's a thing, dude.
It's a thing. I saw we were floating a little bit of money, and I thought, oh, is the replay broke? But it looks like the Overlord was just a little bit late there, and I'm sure that those are all Hydras being pumped out. But 975, I guess he'll have a little bit better eco, and, you know, Bonyth has already built 4 cannons. I mean, this is quite an investment at this stage of the game. You know, seeing this, maybe XiaoShuai will just kind of poke here, and then fall back like he did on Overwatch.
Would be a great little play, you know. This is a lot of investment. And then if you fall back and you defend the 4-gate very easily, you're in a really great position to deny the 3rd and have a really big army for that mid game.
Citadel is already done. 4 gates are done, so everything looks very similar to the Overwatch game. We've got 4th hatch coming up for XiaoShuai. More Hydras coming in for XiaoShuai. 5th hatch, I don't see it anywhere. I'm not sure. Okay, it is a Hydra going to the top right. I thought that potentially a drone was going to bottom right. But XiaoShuai does need to be careful here. Those cannons are really close to the gate, really close to the forge. Don't think he's going to be able to deny +1. And having another rushed Citadel, these elves will get out into the map pretty quickly. They could overrun these Hydras.
Yeah, the Nike shipment is on its way here. And they're going to be real quick, but there are a good number of reinforcing Hydralists here.
Oh, he's going for it, but that's a lot of Zealots, and speed should kick in pretty soon. I think there's a big misstep from XiaoShuai, but that was really good control to pop one of the cannons and back off, and really all he lost there was, what, 1 Hydra and his Lings? That's it? But that's still so many Zealots left over, and here comes Bonyth.
Here they go, and Zealots are really nice and quick, and with some good micro, you're going to be able to bruise up these Hydralists as they make their retreat here. Let's see if XiaoShuai has got what it takes to deflect this attack. He's got a whole bunch of Hydralists back at home, or not Hydralists, but hatcheries. So production should be more than enough to stop this attack here. But this has been reasonably efficient from the army of Bonyth.
Yeah. What? 4 Zealots are going to survive? I thought they were all going to get mowed down, but again, the Hydras letting their damage output onto all of the Zealots instead of focusing 1 or 2 at a time. A bit unlucky for XiaoShuai there. Loses way more Hydras than he was anticipating. Look at the supply plummet for him, down to 37. Luckily, he did have that good drone count and does have 5 hatch, so he'll be able to recover. But that was another good trade for Bonyth.
Yeah, I mean, you say that, but was it really a good trade for the Zealots? Those guys are going to just be... They got mangled faces. You know, one's missing an arm at this point. Look at those guys, dude. They're all messed up.
Oh, well, I like when Zealots are messed up, you know what I mean?
I do too. I don't think they like it when they're messed up, though. Maybe they do. Zealots are kind of weird, man. I'm not gonna lie. They're like, my life for ire hurt me, daddy. Like,
yeah. I was just about to ask that. Are they the BDSM and stuff like that?
Oh yeah. They've got the leather masks and everything.
Is that what that is on their faces? Just a leather mask? Could be. Well, speaking of units that like to get in there and deal damage, there is a DT Cake Boy out on the map right now. Bonyth engages and tries to draw the attention there. Meanwhile, DT into the natural. Sunken's already set up, though. He still gets 3 kills, though. I would say that was probably an even trade. The DT is a pretty expensive unit.
Yeah, you're not excited about it, but you're not upset about it. Canceling that upgrade, though, pretty nice. Just a couple of Hydras walk across the map and just chat it up. Take out that forge, no problem. And now they're heading home.
Yeah,
and here come the Gimps chasing them away.
I think XiaoShuai is in big trouble here. Again, he's at a huge deficit in terms of just outright supply. 77 to 44. He does have a good worker count, but he's consistently losing probes. He's consistently having to deal with harassment like this. Zealots get in. That's only... Oh, it is 2 Sunkens. I thought it was just 1. Zealots run into the main. And there's more coming behind this, Doc Holiday. That's another red line. I think the 3rd base is kind of open, too. Maybe just 1 Sunken. But Zealots getting into the main, I mean. Killing a lot of drones already.
Well, this second wave of Zealots sure is going to do a number. And honestly, even if everything went great and it doesn't end up ending the game right away, the momentum loss is going to be catastrophic. Like, you're gonna just not be able to get anything going from now on. Bonyth's gonna be able to take his third right away. He's gonna be able to get all his tech. Wow, this drone movement's awesome, though. Look at this. Dancing in between the Sunkens, making it really difficult to target those down. But look at this. Bonyth already ready for the mutas and everything, too. Like, what do you do from this point? You know, you don't have lurkers on the field. You can't deny the third. Bonyth's already got a bunch of Templar, and he's already transitioning to Dragoons. So you know a gigantic ball of Dragoons and Templar and a couple of Zealots to just escort everybody's going to be coming down the barrel. And what do? Do you expand? Do you focus on tech? You have to do more than one thing at once, and you just don't have the money.
Yeah, he's decided that he is going to expand to bottom middle, and that Zealot that got into the main, he saw that those larvae were being morphed for a long time, so he knew that those were actually going to be mutas popping out. So you could see he started to build more Corsairs. He built cannons in his main. So Bonyth had the perfect counter to this muta switch. XiaoShuai tried to get sneaky. I think this is actually the first time I saw him go mutas in CVP, but so far it has backfired for him. Now remember, we were talking about how XiaoShuai was down 30 supply a moment ago?
Oh.
It's now almost even, and he's going to pick off all these Templars. He's going to lose the majority of his mutas, but he gets 3 Templars, and supplies are dangerously close now. Well, I gotta
That is
take
so
that back.
worth it.
Yeah, it is worth, but Bonyth just shot up to 90 now versus 63.
Even still, though, I mean, just taking out the Templars, a big amount of time added onto the Doomsday Clock right now, right? So the big push is going to be delayed for a significant period of time. We've only got 1 Templar on the map right now, you know, and you can't constantly just keep pumping those out. They cost a lot of gas here, but even still, I just don't know if it was enough. XiaoShuai still continue to put the pressure on, though. If he stops this third base from going down and he just stalls for a really long time, maybe he can climb himself back into this. You know, it is very difficult for Protoss players to make the perfect call all the time, to be doing exactly what they need to be. You know, to not offer any opportunities to let a Zerg get back in the game. But if there was a Protoss that I would you know, bet on letting me get back in this game, it definitely wouldn't be Bonyth, as he is quite the active player.
Yeah, I mean, XiaoShuai looks like he's in a good position right now, because, I mean, honestly, he is. He's got 4 bases. But what I'm mostly worried about is that third base he took. I mean, it's already halfway mined out. So, yes, he's on 4 base right now, but in about 2 minutes, he's going to be back down to 3 bases. And meanwhile, Bonyth, he's taking a third base. And this is Silfid, where probably he's going to take mid-right also pretty quickly. So it'll be 4 base versus 3 base in favor of Protoss. And I don't see lurkers. I don't see anything other than Hydras. So I don't see how you're ever going to win a fight versus Protoss, let alone try and go for like a push somewhere, like try and counterattack the 3rd or 4th.
Yeah, I actually just made that same observation for myself. It is just Hydra Man here, and the army of Bonyth is quite sophisticated. We have a large number of Dragoons here, and that is going to make it very annoying for the Hydralists to be able to fight and still dodge the storms and everything like that.
Oh.
So there you go. Enormous storm over essentially the entire army at this point, with the bulk of the Hydralists now just being completely destroyed by the storm. These goons are just going to end the game.
Yeah, and all the Overlords are right there too. So if he can force a fight while also picking off Overlords, which is what he's already done, he can even storm those Overlords. I mean, XiaoShuai will just be instantly, permanently supply blocked, but I don't even think it's going to get to that point, because goons are on top of the Nat. That's a good storm. He's going to push the Hydras back. He's going to be able to take down the Sunkens. All Bonyth really has to do right now is reinforce. I don't see any coming. Okay, now he's starting to come with some more units, but those Overlords have been spotted. You can see that he's starting to mow them down with these 4 Corsairs.
There we go. And they're just popping like balloons, man.
This is it, Akali. It's going to be 2-1 in favor of Bonyth, and XiaoShuai is going to be on the ropes. Remember, he's our last Zerg. If he's gone, we've got PvP all the way from here on out.
Yes, and clearly we are the casters with the greatest level of expertise as a Terran and Zerg player for the rest of these games.
Hey.
But there we go.
Hey, Doc Holiday, I can build DPs and carriers with the best of them. I know how to build cannons with it too.
You're such a
Let me
terrible
know.
person. You're the worst off racer in the world. I don't know if you guys know this in the chat, but Nyokin just does the most abusive crap when he's off racing. I remember he goes, Doc Holiday, look at how I play Zerg. And all he did was make hatcheries and mutalisks. That's it. It was like 50 million mutalisks and like 7 bases. and he just destroyed some poor Zerg or some poor Protoss in the ladder. It's just so wrong the way you play your offenses now.
Just gotta be confident in your play, man. And
I'm not visualizing it. That's what it is.
Well, XiaoShuai needs to get some confidence here because he's down 2-1. It's gonna be his. This is his last hope right now. If he loses here, he's out. It's gonna be Bonyth's pick, and it's gonna be Butter. I don't necessarily think this is a good Protoss or Zerg map. I think it's an okay map, but XiaoShuai's got to come up with something here because so far, this Hydra opener that we've seen on Overwatch and now Silfid, Bonyth clearly has the answer. Like, these games were not close. Once Bonyth got onto the map, once he was able to land storms, it snowballed real quick. So right now, it looks like Bonyth has the answer to XiaoShuai. I mean, even in Game 1. Game 1 was kind of a weird game. I don't really know if you can, like, count that as, like... Yes, I realize XiaoShuai won, but it was just flat out weird. When we've gotten standard... Fluky. Yeah, when we've gotten standard with the Hydra play, right now, Bonyth's just outright outplaying him.
Yeah, and the thing is, too, it doesn't even really appear to be that close. XiaoShuai has, in some situations, gotten himself into, like especially in game number 2, got himself in a pretty commanding position and just flubbed it right away. So I have to wonder, can anyone stop this man? Can any Zerg? Can any Zerg outside of Korea stop Bonyth? Because he's a wrecking ball.
Yeah, I'm rewatching the stream right now, like looking at our final engagement, and I just want to point out one thing here is, one thing I've noticed in particular with XiaoShuai as compared to somebody like Ziki, Ziki's in and out of storms all day, like he dodges like nonstop, whereas XiaoShuai, he's just getting murdered by storms. XiaoShuai needs to not stand in the storm and lose 4 or 5 Hydras every time. I mean, it's snowballing so heavily in Bonyth's favor that he's got to avoid the storms. I think if he can do that, he can stage a comeback. But right now, I mean, Bonyth looking so deadly. It's going to be his map pick. It's Butter. Let's get into Game 4. Bonyth 1 game away from moving on into the next round. Right in the top right, up to 1, it is Bonyth.
And in the bottom right-hand corner, on his last life, we have the blue Zerg, XiaoShuai.
Well, we've got another forward pylon, so probably, again, we're just going to see another... No, I was going to say we're probably going to see another Forge expand, but, surprisingly, Doc Holliday, when I think of Bonyth and PvZ, I don't think of him as a Forge expand type of player or a Nexus first Forge expand. Like, he's generally somebody that goes Gateway expand, but we haven't seen that.
I want 12 next. 12 next.
12 no, next, we don't want 12 next, man.
12 next. 12
hate that
next.
build.
Do it.
I hate that build.
He just unzips and lays them on the table, man. 12 next. Your move, buddy.
12 next. Well, if he goes for 12 next, it's going to be a great move because this is the first time all series this is going to be a hatch first opener from XiaoShuai.
12 next. 12 next.
That's what it
12
is.
Next. 12 next.
I can't believe it because in the Chinese qualifiers, we saw consistently Chinese players in your face, whether it's J-Star 2-gating every time, or if it's John Hoon or somebody else, Cannon rushing on this map. The fact that he goes for hatch first here is just crazy to me, but he's going to go for it, and Bonyth somehow has a read that this is going to be a hatch first because he goes straight 12 Nexus, and he didn't even scout fast either, dude. He's just gone straight for the 12 Nexus because he's confident that it's not going to be pulled first.
Yeah, Bonyth's like doing his taxes right now, not even paying attention. He's like, whatever, dude, I'm just going to put down my Nexus. I don't even... I'm probably going to go gate before this cannon. I don't give a shit. Like, whatever, dude. I'm over this. I already won.
You got to be confident, right?
Look at
when you're building those hatches and
gate before the cannon. He knows. Easy.
It's crazy.
Whatever.
It like can't be any greedier than this, unless you're going Nexus Gate, which no person on this planet would go for that unless your name's Minnie, because that guy's just actually a madman.
That's not true. I often play ladder as a random player, and I go 3 Nexus before Gateway, okay?
I don't know who you're trying to fool with that, Doc Holliday, because you're mass-linging ZVP, ZVT. You think I expect you to get past even one base playing
Dude,
as Protoss.
look,
You're probably
look,
3
look,
gate on
look,
one base.
Look.
Yeah,
The Nexus, and then the second Nexus is like cheesier than going a 4-pool. Because that's like a real build that works. See, it's so cheesy. They just don't know what to do. They don't know. They look for proxies. There's no proxies on the map, sir.
Except for a proxy Nexus.
Yeah, there's a
Not a
proxy
base.
Nexus, proxying my own third with a Nexus.
Well, I'll tell you one game that I know of that was actually double Nexus before Gateway. Back when, what's that? Transistor. Back when Transistor was a map and it was new, there was a game between Brittany and Flash, and Flash was known to go 14cc every time. So Brittany went 12 Nexus, scouted Flash first, and Flash scouted last. So he went double Nexus. A third Nexus at another base, and then gate. Flash scouted it.
My man.
Tried to pull Marines and SCVs, but how are you gonna pull Marines and SCVs when you go command center first? It died, and then from there, Brittany gave Flash vision, and Brittany still won. That's the only time I've seen triple Nexus before gate. And imagine you're doing it to Flash and giving him vision.
Jesus Christ. That's amazing. Why don't we have more of that?
We do need more of that, but
we do need more of that.
That's the only time I've seen it. Well, we've got our first Zealot in Pro moving across the map to the third base. He's already picked off a Ling, and that's a big deal. He may even lose another Ling before he does any damage to that Zealot. Corsair is already about to be out too.
Oh,
so
the probe is dead though.
Yeah, and the probe's gone, but he's gonna get. Oh, I thought he was gonna get that.
Is he
drone.
though? See ya, Zealot. It was all a bait.
It was a bait. Yeah.
You thought, Zealot. Get out of here. But yeah, I mean, yeah, it looked really bad there. I can't believe he saved that drone there, because things have been somewhat indicative of a difficult time controlling the units. Maybe he's just not great at dodging storms with Hydralisk. I was thinking maybe there's like a latency issue, but that was a clutch pull on that drone.
Yeah, that was really good control right there to save that drone. We know Bonyth is a big drone sniper with his Zealot, so that was quite impressive. I like this spread of Lings across the map to try and intercept potential secondary Zealot follow-up, but he saw that there's nothing being sent out, and oh, he's gonna pick off a Zealot for free. That's a bit unusual for Bonyth. Oh wow, it ends up surviving with 2 hits, but it's already heavily damaged.
For free? I wish. No Zealot's ever free. Because in order to pick off a Zealot, you have to play against the Protoss.
Okay.
This is awkward timing though. This really sucks when you're losing your overlords as you're producing them. You're gonna have to overproduce them to make sure you don't get supply blocked here. Here we go. Scourge coming out just in time to stop the. Never mind. There's another overlord going down in the middle of the map. Okay.
Wow, he gets
That's a little
2
surprising.
overlords. That's a really good pickoff for Bonyth, and XiaoShuai. I mean, look how many drones he has. I thought he was like, okay, he's in a little bit of trouble, but I see how big his drone count is. We've got about what? It's that 3 mutas, so 6 supply there, 4 supply in, or 2 supply in Scourge, and it looked like another 3 supply in Ling, so that puts us at around, I don't know, what, 11 supply in units? That means that XiaoShuai's still got like 35 workers right now. I mean, that's really good eco for him. He's got 5 hatch or 6 hatch coming up. I saw Hydrogen just now started. So he looks like he's pretty solidified on 3 bases.
Really unfortunate though. The timing of those overlords really limited the timing that the mutas can get in here and do some damage. You really do want to get, you know, at least your 5 mutas out on the field so they can start getting across the map and doing some damage while the Scourge zone the Corsairs, while the Corsair number is still small enough. But you know, unfortunately that didn't happen because you only get 3 mutas out, and that's not enough to one-shot a probe. And here comes a freaking squadron of Corsairs in the air.
Oh, the Scourge, what are you doing? They're not helping out at all. But this could be a bait.
They got to clock in still. They got 2 minutes.
Oh my god, the Stairs just eviscerated 2 of the Scourge. What? He didn't kill any of the Scourge or any of the Corsairs right there. They all connected onto different Corsairs. And that means that these Corsairs are gonna murder these mutas. Do the Corsairs have +1 weapon?
They're all yellow Sairs.
What? They have
Oh my god.
Not like this. XiaoShuai's gotta be kicking himself. He's probably wondering what the hell happened. How did none of the Sares die? This is it, Doc Holiday.
Alright, well, the mutas went out and checked the middle of the map there really quickly, so they know that nothing else is out there, so that's good. Yeah, this is crazy. How did this happen?
I mean,
Did he do that on purpose? Like,
no.
how does that happen? He, like, accidentally cloned his Scourge.
That's so heartbreaking because I thought XiaoShuai was in a good spot. Now he's getting Scourge connections, but it's too late. I realize he's killed, 4 out of the 6 Corsairs at this point, but his Nat was ransacked for a long time. He's finally going to clean it up, but it's still a 25 supply lead for Bonyth. I guess the good thing here is Bonyth did lose 5 Sares, and mutas are out in the map, so he's going to continue to build Sares, but that was a lot of damage done.
Yeah. I mean, Bonyth does have +1 too, so rebuilding the Sares is not going to be as painful as it could be. But even still, like, wow, dream situation for Bonyth there. Because as you said, he looked pretty prepared, Killing off the Corsairs is so important because it's not like a single Scourge hit does like what it does to a Mutalisk, where it leaves them at like 1 HP. They're still quite healthy, so they take quite a lot of doing to take him out of the air still.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. Oh, there is an Overlord. Oh, even still though. 3. What are they doing? Everyone's on strike. Oh my god.
5 kills with that DT, and the Overlord was just sitting there and watching. XiaoShuai is not happy about the amount of damage that DT did. And this is 9 gate, Doc Holiday. You see 8 in the main, but remember there's 1 at the natural. So we've got a 9 gate follow-up from Bonyth. This is hardcore production from him. He's decided he's done enough damage. He wants to end this. Probably 2 cycles of goons, and it's going to be go time for him. I mean, what does XiaoShuai have? He's got like 5 mutas, a decent amount of Scourge, and that's it. I mean, his standing army is not very much. Actually, it's more mutas than I thought.
Even still, though. Well, let's see. I mean, this is going to be a make or break moment for XiaoShuai, and there's a ton. Oh my god, the mutas are not going to be.
This is a lot of Scourge, though. Okay,
yeah.
He has double cannon. He has double cannon. Oh, he has triple cannon. I can't believe he has triple cannon. But still, that's so many Scourge. They do have +1 armor. That's a bit of a whiff. No, actually, the Storm hit a couple of the Scourge and softened them up. More Scourge coming in from the side, but Bonyth easily holds this, and now he's almost doubling supply with mutas out of position, with Zealots moving into the natural right now.
Yeah, well, hopefully there's enough buildings and drones here that the Zealots get tired and like need a snack or something. And maybe the mutas can come back and help or something, but it's not looking too good. Wow.
Yeah, it's not looking good at all. I realize Bonyth is probably going to lose these Zealots, but the Corsair count is still fearsome. There's still nothing other than Muta and Scourge. I mean, that's it, basically, in a couple of links. So third base is going to go up easily for Bonyth. There's nothing to contest that. It's still just 5 hatch production also. It's not 6 hatch. There's no 4 base. No 4th base for XiaoShuai either.
Yeah, once this third gets up and running, it's going to be over. You can kind of just hang out for a little bit and go 5 base versus 2. Or sorry, 5 hatch versus 2 base. But the moment that this third gets to stabilize and workers start mining here, it's going to be over. The amount of units that are flooding across the map are going to end the game. But even still, as we see, the standing army for XiaoShuai at this point has been pretty well decimated, and there's an enormous army coming across the map to the natural expansion. I'm not sure if this third is really worth it. We have a ton of Sunkens desperately morphing here. I like the idea, but it's not going to work out as there's still creep colonies. And, okay. I mean, Templar making their way down here, they're not even morphing.
What?
They're just lovers in the night, just passing by each other.
Yeah, Sares and Scourge, they do not want to engage, and that means that this Nat is 100% dead. I guess the third base is going to die on the top left side. Maybe not, because those Sares all went back. That's going to be a heavily damaged. Next is actually not even heavily damaged.
Oh
Scourge
my
come
god.
and save the day, but still, a couple Corsairs remain. This is it. GG. That means 3-1 for Bonyth, and our remaining final Zerg, he's gone.
That was a toughie. That was a rough one. It got got off to a pretty terrible start and then just kept being terrible. I'm actually surprised that the initial big Zealot move out didn't do more damage. The Midas did end up like getting back to slow it down for a little bit, but man, it was written on the wall there pretty quickly there. And well, a whole lot of PvP ahead.
Indeed, a lot of PvP. And like you said, when the Scourge all connected onto different Sayers, I thought the game was over right there. I'm like, okay, this is done. I mean, I was surprised to see him actually end up cleaning it up. But Bonyth had the perfect defense. I think if it's me there, I would probably build one cannon in my main and die to the Mass Muta Scourge follow-up. So for him to build 3 cannons and rebuild his Sayers, that was good game sense from him. And he takes the series 3-1.
Yeah, well, he's got double cannon. Oh no, he's got triple cannon!
Yeah.
And all the hopes immediately dashed. Like, oh my gosh. Bonyth doesn't miss a beat, man.
I know. He's the man. He's on top of his game. He's looking really good this season. He's played extremely well. I think he's like the only person that beat Dawid so far. I mean, I always talk about Dawid, but I mean, Dawid, remember, he's still in the winner's bracket. He's the guy to beat in the top side other than John Hoon. Which is going to be our next matchup. It's going to be Dawid versus John Hoon. Best of 5 coming up. As I said, it's our winner's bracket finals match. We're going to be going into a break, and then we'll be back with that series and find out who's going to beat our first person into the finals. Is it Dawid or is it John Hoon? Don't go anywhere.
All right, I'm going to go somewhere real quick. 1 second.
Okay, see ya.